Well, this is the last day of the month, and our theme that we took from our Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide for the month of October has been prosperity, abundance, and wealth, which is, of course, individual to each person. We get to interpret what that is for us because it always includes an abundance of love, an abundance of wisdom, an abundance of understanding, as well as an abundance of every good thing that human beings deserve to have in this world. It was Elizabeth ran Errett and Michael ran in Shortcut to a Miracle, that wonderful book. Many of you were in that wonderful class, yes. They say you are worthy and deserving because that is your spiritual heritage. You don't have to earn it. It is your spiritual birthright. That's a wonderful awareness for us to come back to. It is our spiritual birthright to be healthy. It is our spiritual birthright to prosper. It is our spiritual birthright to feel the love that is the love of God made manifest in each of us, and to be able to share that with one another, even the ones wearing the masks that would try to pretend that they're other than the beloved in whom God is well pleased. That's a hard thing for us to do sometimes, isn't it? As Sarah pointed out this morning in the opening prayer, we need no intermediary. Now, I think it's wonderful. The Buddha came and built the bridge, and then Jesus came and walked back over it. And I have a minister friend who sometimes when people are kind of getting in their heads a lot, he'll go, "Beam me up, Buddha." Because there's this clarification of the intellect, which is a very important thing for us. People are attracted to this kind of teaching because they're very smart. It's the beginning. It's like, this is making sense. There is sanity here. And don't we love sanity? Especially in a world that seems a little bit kooky sometimes. So we want to be clear in our minds. We want to recognize that the infinite intelligence of this universe also dwells within each one of us. And we want to use that intelligence in healthy, loving ways. So we bring in the heart and recognize that Moses brought the law. Jesus added the love to it. He said, I'm not here to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. And love is the fulfilling of the law. So we don't beg, we don't bargain, we don't say, I'll be really good if I can have this. I'll make this deal with you. God is not a deal maker. God is a giver of all good. And we get to learn to be more generous receivers of all the love that's already available for us, all the good that is already pressing itself against us, saying, won't you just let me in? Don't you want to be an instrument for the beauty and the love and the wisdom and all the good things in this universe that are here for you? For abundance is a quality of the divine. There's never a shortage of anything. Now, it shows up that way in the world sometimes when people are misguided, when people may be mentally ill and not yet returning to their wholeness and recognizing that they are the beloved in whom God is well pleased. But nothing is ever withheld from us. The only thing that keeps us from experiencing greater love, greater joy, greater good in our lives of everything we could imagine is some patterns within us that need to be healed yet. And so we do our work. We find that we need to uncover those false beliefs, the erroneous ideas that maybe aren't only ours, but belong to the whole human race on a subjective level that we're not even aware of. So we do our work. We each do our personal, individual work. I'm here with a holy confession today because I do my work, as you know. I have a spiritual director I work with every month. And I get to uncover the patterns that I didn't think were still operating. Not I, I'm so evolved. Excuse me, we're all working on it, right? This is my holy confession. I'm standing right here in front of you, and this is going to go out on YouTube. Breathe. You know what I found out? That I have a disdain for unconscious people. What do I do about that? How do I bring the love to it? If I have that kind of a judgment about, oh, I'm so much more evolved than you are, why don't you get conscious? I'm not going to do any good at all for myself or anybody else. And I call myself a minister. I have a disdain for unconscious people. I'm working on it. I'm working on healing it, believe me. Because Jesus said the poor shall always be with you. He was not talking about people who didn't have enough shekels. No, let's see, what did we have then? Whatever the monetary exchange was, that's not what it was about. It's that there are those who haven't yet awakened. You know, and when people would see the Buddha, the compassionate Buddha, walking along the road, and they would ask him, who are you? Are you a god? Are you a master? What are you? He would simply respond, I am awake. I am awake. And so just such a bodhisattva, such a master. And there are many masters that we have been given. Just walking along near them, asking, what are you? Who are you? And hearing, I am awake, can inspire us to begin to wake up too. And then we get to be the light bearers to make a difference in someone else's world. The qualities of the divine are immediate and they are constant. God is abundance, God is love, God is compassion, and God is wisdom, and God is a light. And we all can come into an awareness of that light within and all around us and become the instruments through which the light comes into the dark places. And oh my goodness, I really do believe that there's a reason for all of this hate and darkness to be coming up in our faces right now, and I think it has something to do with all the years that we've been meditating on the light. Because the light is now shining in those places that we didn't want to acknowledge. And the creepy crawlies are coming out from underneath the rocks. Because the light's shining. We need to keep shining the light. We can't stop in the middle of it. Any more than you can stop in the middle of childbirth. Okay? We've got to continue to give birth to a new idea for this world. And that means not being brought down by the things that happen in the world that are so unconscionable. In 72 hours this week, in 72 hours, there were heinous crimes committed. And it'd be too easy for us to succumb to the, oh my God, there's nothing I can do. Oh yes, there is. There is. I'd like to read something to you from a Holocaust survivor. Eli, is it Weasel or Weisel? Weisel. Long before Abraham came along, there was a certain man who used to stand outside the gates of Sodom and cry out against it. Day after day, year after year, the man would stand there all by himself, pleading and demanding that people change their ways. Once after many years, a delegation came to the man and demanded to know what he was still doing there. Hadn't he realized that his protests wouldn't change anything? The man replied, I came to Sodom to try to change them, and I have long since realized that that won't happen. However, I must keep trying, because if I leave, they will have changed me. Protest, he continues, is exhausting work, because the results are almost never immediately apparent. Change often comes at a glacial pace. And quite often, society's problems get worse long before they get better. The spiritual work of protest is a matter cultivating audacious hope. Now, when I say protest, I'm not even a Protestant. I don't protest in a sense of getting loud and screaming and saying, it's got to be different and I'm going to chant about it. That's fine. People want to do that to make others aware of what we need to be aware of. But I'm saying no to the hate. I'm saying no to any idea that it has to continue to be that way. I'm saying yes to what we've been working on for years. I'm saying yes to what we can do individually and as a beloved community like this and so many others to make a difference. This is a prayer by St. Oscar Romero. I never heard of him, but I really like how he prays. He says, we plant the seeds that one day will grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing that they hold future promise. We lay foundations that will need further development. We provide yeast that produces far beyond our capabilities. We cannot do everything, and there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something and to do it well, very well. It may be incomplete, but it is a beginning, a step along the way, an opportunity for God's grace to enter and do the rest. We may never see results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders. Ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future not our own. And from the Talmud, I love this. Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love mercy now. Walk humbly now. You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. Neither are you free to abandon it. Oh, my dear ones, we have work to do. We have work to do on ourselves. I have work to do, and I'm grateful to be able to do it. Here's something we can do. If you have an opportunity to be on Broad Street in Philadelphia at 5 o'clock tonight, Interfaith Philadelphia, a group of clergy and others who come together, sounds like a song, it's a good one, who come together for good to make a difference. And we're going to be seeing many of these people, I think 20 to 22 of them, when Reverend Mike and I are in Toronto next week for the Parliament of the World's Religions. And this is what they're doing at 5 o'clock at the congregation Rodef Shalom on Broad Street. Stand in solidarity and interfaith vigil. And what they have written is, dear friends, our hearts grieve for the Tree of Life Synagogue community in Pittsburgh. As gunshots and anti-Semitic vitriol pierced Shabbat morning worship, the lives of victims, the injured, their families of first responders, and the surrounding community were shattered. This tragic incident sends ripples of fear throughout Jewish communities of this nation that was established to safeguard religious freedom. On behalf of Interfaith Philadelphia and the Religious Leaders Council of Greater Philadelphia, we invite you to join in solidarity, people of all faiths. For as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, when one of us suffers, we all suffer alike. Please join us for an interfaith vigil coordinated by the Jewish Community Relations Council of the Jewish Federation. 615 North Broad Street, 5 o'clock today. Reverend Mike and I have obligations, and if we can change them, we will be there. And we're going to put this out in front so you can see it. I think it's really important that we address what's going on in our world. I think it's really important that we live our teaching of the science of mind, knowing we can make a difference in our own lives. We can have healthier relationships. We can have greater prosperity, whatever that means to us. We can have a greater creative activities, whatever those may be to us, so that we can live the artistry of the divine life we were sent here to live. We can make a difference in our world by starting with making a difference in our very own. And that means allowing ourselves to remember who we are. How can we help other people remind themselves of who they are until we recognize the authentic self within us that is forever, the beautiful being that you and I were created to be? You know, each one of us has been created, has been designed in a very special, precious way. And if there were two people exactly alike, one wouldn't be necessary. Each of us is absolutely essential to do the work we came here to do, to have the joy we came here to experience. So let's come back to that authentic self. These qualities of the divine that are within us come to life when we remember abundance is a quality of the divine. It's inherent within each one of us. And we get to decide what that abundance looks like. Empathy, wisdom, good things, all of it, all of it. You know, one of Ernest Holmes' most favorite parables was that of the prodigal son. It's mine too. You've heard me bring him into this room more than once. Remember, the prodigal son asked for his share of the inheritance. He took it out into the world and he wasted it. And he found himself one day having a little job of feeding the pigs. It's the only way he could earn any money to be able to feed himself. And he woke up and he looked around him at these pigs and he thought, oh, even the servants in my father's house are cared for better than these, fed better than these. What am I doing here? And he arose. It said he came to himself. Do you realize that's what we get to do? We get to come to ourselves. We get to remember who we are. Get out of the slop. Come to ourselves. And remember, he's walking down the road. He's decided to go back to his father's house. And remember what happens when he's halfway down the road? Here's his father coming to greet him and open his arms and welcome him. We are always, always, always welcomed home, no matter what kind of far journey we have been on. So he was greeted. He was given a party. He was given the best ring and a beautiful robe. Wonderful. But then there was the stay-at-home brother who went, I was the good son. I never went anywhere. I stayed right here. I didn't get a party. You didn't give me a special robe. Do you remember what his father said to him at that point? Beloved, all I have is thine. It doesn't matter if we go out into the far country or if we stay home thinking we're being so holy, so evolved, having disdain for the unconscious people. Either way, everything the Father has is ours. And so in remembering that, we have an opportunity to wake up. Oh, we may not wake up instantly. You know, you may have to wait for your computer to restart. Anybody ever had that experience? But there is no waiting for this connection. It can be instantaneous the moment that we remember who we are and open our hearts and let Spirit fill us. And it always succeeds. And the only thing between us and our greater good in any area is an erroneous idea about what that good is and whether or not we are worthy of having it and if there's enough to go around. I want to dispel us all now of the notion that you're not worthy of it or that there's not enough to go around. You were created in the image and likeness of God. Everything that's true of the infinite is true of the finite, and you get to express it in your own life. You are worthy. Say to me, with me, I'm worthy.
I am worthy.
I believe you. You said it as though you mean it. Thank you. I want you to keep saying it. And I want you also to remember, because you already know this, that there is enough for everyone. There is enough. You and I are enough. Say, there is enough. I am enough. And that's where we have to remain. We have to keep bringing ourselves back to this awareness. Every moment of every day, as soon as our mind starts to go in another direction and we start into that old story of lack or limitation or them and us, we got to instantly stand up to heal that. We remove the disguise of not enough. We reveal the boundless good. Boundless good in every area that's ours to experience and to enjoy and to share with others. It is deep personal work. Believe me, it is worth it. It does require complete self-honesty. You might not need to tell everybody else about it. You might not need to stand up here and do your holy confession like I did today, but be honest with yourself. And we might ask, what erroneous idea is operating within me still? And then, what is the greater idea that is eternally so? It's up to us. It's up to me. That's all I can know. It's up to me. And I'm here to do my best to remind other people that the light that we all share is the light that needs to keep shining in this world. Bright, warm, healing, nurturing. We all have it. We all get to share it. Will you say, I see and experience universal bounty. It is mine to use, to enjoy, and to share. I behold the abundance of love. It is the truth for everyone. There is enough good for all. There is enough love for all. And so, my beloveds, beginneth your lesson.